cyberspace. Hi, it's me, Marie, the skincare sleuth, who loves to read ingredients labels, who loves to disagree with Instagram experts, who loves to do something for a really long time, form her own opinion, and then come here and share it with you. And that's exactly what we're doing today. We're going to talk about oil cleansing and my 5-year experience with it, what I've learned, and then because Saturday, September 4th, I'm going to be dropping a bunch of my oil cleanser, green flash oil cleanser on my Sunny Ruckus website. I thought I'd tell you why I put together my oil cleanser the way that I did. So, with all of that being said, let's jump in. Okay, so I have been kind of in the Instagram skincare scene since around 2016. And I'm not sure how familiar you are with skincare trends or topics or communities. But, you know, green, clean beauty kind of came around and repopularized this idea of oil cleansing, right? Because you could use products that were anhydrous, that didn't require preservatives. But there was actually more skin benefits, skin theory to that than I knew at the time when I first learned about it. So at first I liked it, but then I started to feel like it was stripping too much of my own natural oils. Little did I know other things were really stripping the natural oils from my face, like masking too frequently. But then around that time, we started to get into this trend of the pH balanced cleanser, right? There was all this talk about how not using a pH balanced cleanser affected your skin barrier, broke it down, ruined it basically. And then you started seeing Korean skincare come on the market where people were advertising like, hey, the pH of our skincare is this, and that's why it's good or better for your face. Well, I bought into that for a period of time. I thought that was interesting. But as I spent more time kind of researching and understanding, I learned that using water on your face alone changes the pH of your skin. So water has a pH between 7 and 8, sometimes even higher depending on where you live. You can actually look it up in your county records, usually Googling the pH of your water in your county. It's interesting because here on Maui, some of us have water that's supplied from an aquifer and some of us have water that is from runoff in the rainy areas of the island, and they both have different pHs. So it's kind of interesting when you learn that. But anyway, so that kind of blew this whole idea of the pH balance cleanser out of the water for me. Because I'm like, no matter what, in the end, you're washing it off with water. So, you know, fast forward some years, some months, and it kind of brought me back to this idea of oil cleansing, right? And one of the things about oil cleansing was cutting out water, cutting out putting a lot of water on your face to cleanse your skin. And that really began to intrigue me. Okay, and I kind of went back to that idea as being like really kind of sound in my mind, right? Like sound in my mind that this idea of cutting out applying more water to your skin, right? Because the skin doesn't like water, it wants to keep it out anyway. So keeping water off it, cleansing it with oil started to really kind of resonate a little bit more with me. Then I have my maturing skin, okay? So 5 years ago, my skin was probably much younger and resilient than it is now, right? I just turned 40 this year. And as your skin starts to age, your process of cell turnover or skin layer turnover starts to lengthen, okay? And one of the things I started to notice about my skin was it tends to build a lot of excess skin. So I started using acids on my skin. I started doing all kinds of things that sensitized my skin. And then I would try to do oil cleansing with a washcloth and my skin would feel too sensitive for it. So I finally cut all of that out and I used just oil cleansing with a very specific ingredient in it. And I'm actually working on formulating a sleeping mask with that ingredient in it. And it healed my skin. And oil cleansing with a washcloth healed my skin. It is now not sensitive at all. And here was the thing, is then you kind of enter this next trend, right? Where oil cleansers that have all the benefits and the cushion and the really decadence to it, but they are removable with water. So I started getting into kind of my ideas of formulation, and I started to learn to understand that the idea of oil cleansers that are removed with water isn't really the historic principle of cleansing. So you're not using a surfactant to remove dirt and oil. You're basically using sort of a modified system for its secondary reasons. So you can use emulsifiers, which are you melt them into oils, and when they're mixed with water, when the water touches your skin, it kind of becomes this product and comes off, right? Because it emulsifies, the water and the oil emulsify and rinse off. Or you can use solubilizers, right? And so solubilizers are things that are in a lot of green beauty products. And it's sort of the same thing. It's like when it's mixed with water, it sort of just all dissolves away. Well, I liked those products because I was kind of lazy, always tired at night. I have 3 kids. I liked the idea of those products. But there were 2 things that I noticed. They always dried out my skin. And the way that I test them, which not a lot of people understand, is I would apply them, rinse off my face, and wait 30 minutes. And usually between the time of washing my face and 30 minutes, my skin would feel drier and drier and drier. Then, because I use a really thick sunscreen from Suntegrity, the Impeccable Skin, I've talked about it a bunch, I started to really wonder how clean my skin was actually getting, because I was getting a lot of buildup of skin and dirt and breakouts and clogged pores. So I went back for the last 2 years to just oil cleansing with a washcloth, and it has made the biggest difference in my skin. It's a game changer for me. It just truly is. It keeps my skin exfoliated, but it's gentle. It's daily. It keeps my face clean, which prevents a lot of other problems. That exfoliation, that daily gentle exfoliation, keeps my skin able to absorb and receive products very nicely. And yeah, I will always oil cleanse, and I'll always follow it with a gentle second cleanse, which is a soap I'm working on. It's so beautiful. Or a cream cleanser or something else, but the Earthwise Beauty Marshmallow Fields is one of my favorite second cleanse. But yeah, so that's been my experience with it. I know not everybody has the same experience, but for me personally, one of the biggest things that I feel has impacted my skin is proper, thorough cleansing, and the daily exfoliation from a washcloth. So with that being said, let me just tell you a little bit about Green Flash Oil Cleanser by Sunny Ruckus, my little skin soap candle business. So the first thing that was important to me was texture. The texture of the product is loose. It has a lot of give. And so some of the oils feel dry. And that's because they move around the skin easily. When you're working into the skin, when you're getting the crevices, when you're getting the dirt loose and the skin loose and the clogged pores, I wanted it to feel really easy to move the product around. So I purposely chose oils that are not like real wet moisturizing oils, that have a lot of drag. They move really easily. I also wanted it to feel really easy when you use the washcloth for them to come off. So rather than feeling like after you remove it, you really got to get in there deep with a second cleanse, I wanted it to feel lightweight and dry so that when you were done taking it off with a washcloth, a second cleanse would be really light and effortless. So that being said, oil cleansers are wiped off, so a majority of the product is going onto your washcloth. However, because your skin is made up of lipids, it's still going to retain some of that oil that you massaged in. So I did want to be mindful about the ingredients, right? If we were just making an oil soluble cleanser that was all going to wash down the sink, then I would say just make it as cheap as possible. But because if you're taking the time to oil cleanse and remove with a washcloth, you're really committed to your skin. You're really committed to the process. I wanted to make it beautiful. And because I feel like cleansing is like one of the #1 things that are important in the routine, I wanted the oil cleanse at the end of the day to feel like a decadent treat. So I based it, the largest percentage is carrot seed oil. I've loved carrot seed oil since I got into skincare. There's something about the smell that it just hands down says to me everything good about green beauty. The oil itself is very nutritious. It's full of vitamin A, and that's great for the skin. And it's pressed here in the United States. So when I buy it, I buy it directly from the people that press it. Next up, I have squalane in it. And squalane is pretty well renowned. It's a plant-derived squalane for being very similar in its fatty oil composition, fatty acid oil composition, to your skin's fatty acid oil composition. So I wanted the skin oils to feel like, right? Like attracts like these things kind of, they go together. And as you're taking oils away, you're replacing oils that your skin will love and accept. I used a little bit of macadamia nut seed oil because this isn't talked about very much, but macadamia nut seed oil is actually very similar to jojoba, to squalane, in that its fatty acid breakdown is very similar to the skin. Very skin loving. And then I used moringa oil. And I've always been fascinated and obsessed with moringa oil because it has so many trace elements in it. It's got zinc, it's got potassium, it's got calcium, it's got all these interesting trace minerals in it. And so when, again, I thought about massaging oils into your face, I thought, what do we want? We want vitamin A. We want fatty acids the skin's going to accept and love. We want trace minerals. And then I threw in some olive oil that's been infused with calendula. So olive oil, I mean, it's packed with vitamin E. It's so skin loving. And the lady that I buy the infused oil from is just, she's just a plant goddess. And so the oil is this rich, deep yellow, and it's so therapeutic and so skin loving. So yeah, that's why that's in there. And it gives the one oil that gives that nice little cushion to the whole composition. Then I included some neroli infused jojoba oil. Again, everything goes back to choosing oils that are very, very much historically skin loving, right? Oils that if you're gonna massage oils in your face and use oils in no other step, these really get in there and, you know, infuse into the skin. Then I included a little bit of jojoba oil that's been infused with frankincense and myrrh, which it's actually not essential oils. It's the resins have been infused into the oils, and then you use the oil that has the resin infusion in it in the product. And then last but not least, I included just a smidgen of sea buckthorn because I love it and everybody loves it, and it's just so, so, so good for skin. All that beta carotene. And so that's it. Tell me what you think about oil cleansing. If you bought the Green Flash Oil Cleanser and you didn't love it, tell me why. Help me make it better. If you bought it and liked it, leave that below. Thanks for watching, and September 4th, be there or be square. I'm dropping some Sunny Ruckus products, so come join me. And cheers, guys. I hope you're doing well. I spent most of the day in a N95 and a face shield and a gown and gloves and booties, and it was hot. And the thing I think that keeps me mentally strong right now is my hobby little business, Sunny Ruckus. So come out and support on September 4th. Cheers.